The real estate agent tells you, turn this house into an Airbnb. Expenses eat up 30% of the rent. The rest is yours. He's not lying, but there's a number he's not telling you. The real operating expense isn't 30%, it can go up to 65%. So that beautiful table he showed you might actually be a black hole eating your money every month. Today, I'm revealing the real numbers the agent doesn't show you. Let's set the scene. You buy a 300,000 house. The agent tells you, in this area, Airbnb brings in 4,000 a month in gross rent. Then he does the math. Expenses run about 25-30% of income, so you're left with 2,800-3,000 net per month. That's close to 35,000 a year. Even after your mortgage payment, you're still in profit. On paper, it looks amazing. A spreadsheet, a nice chart. The phrase, it pays for itself in 5 years. Here's the problem. That table isn't real, because the 25-30% figure he's using doesn't match the actual industry data. According to industry data, the real operating expense ratio for short-term rental properties runs between 45% and 65% of gross income, nearly double what the agent quoted. Let's go back to the same example. 4,000 a month in gross income. Not 30%, but assuming 55% in expenses, what's left isn't 2,800. It's closer to 1,800. And that's still only true if you're managing the property yourself. If you hand it over to a professional management company, which most investors do, because they don't have the time, those companies take 20% to 30% of gross income as commission. Stack those together. Management commission plus operating expenses can eat up more than half of gross income, in some cases 70-80%. Mortgage payments, taxes, and insurance are on top of that. The pays for itself in 5 years. Math the agent showed you can actually stretch to 10-12 years. Or let's give this a name to make it concrete. Tony. He saw this exact table and bought the house. The first 3 months, everything went great. It was summer season. The house stayed booked. Money landed in his account regularly. Tony thought to himself, so this really is this easy. Then fall came. Bookings dropped by half. In November, the house sat empty for 18 days. The mortgage payment still came. The insurance still came. The tax still came. That same month, the dishwasher in the kitchen broke, costing $600 to fix. Tony had never factored that in. In December, a letter arrived from the local municipality. Short-term rentals required a separate license and an occupancy tax registration. Tony didn't know this, and the agent had never mentioned it either. He paid a retroactive fine. By spring, Tony realized he couldn't manage the house himself anymore. He had a job, a family. He hired a management company, and they started taking 25% of gross income as commission. When Tony sat down at year's end and worked out the real numbers, instead of the 35,000 net profit the agent had promised, he found himself with something closer to 8,000-10,000. Tony's story is fictional, but every line item in it is real. Now let's look at the actual industry data behind these numbers. I noticed the script still says, Tony Nin, 2 spots from an earlier draft. Want me to update the file so it's Tony throughout, or keep both names as is? 4. Why does this gap exist? So where does the gap between 25-30% and 45-65% actually come from? Here are the line items the agent doesn't factor in or deliberately underplays. Vacancy periods. The house isn't booked every single day of the year. Occupancy drops significantly during the off-season. On those empty days, income is zero, but the mortgage, taxes, and insurance keep running. Cleaning and turnover between guests. Cleaning, laundry, and supplies after every checkout. This isn't a one-time cost, it's a recurring one. Specialized short-term rental insurance. A standard homeowner's policy doesn't cover Airbnb use. You need a separate, more expensive policy. Taxes and permits. Many states and cities require a separate occupancy tax and licensing for short-term rentals. Some areas ban it outright or impose heavy restrictions, and plenty of investors never check this before buying. Furniture and depreciation. An Airbnb isn't like an empty rental unit. It's expected to be furnished, decorated, and hotel comfortable. That furniture wears down and needs replacing. Platform commissions. Airbnb, VRBO, and similar platforms take a cut from both the host and the guest, which eats further into net income. The agent isn't hiding these line items to lie to you. Most of the time he doesn't fully know them, or it just doesn't serve his interest to mention them. Either way, you're the one who ends up paying the bill, and tracking every line item is what determines what you actually walk away with. 5. How do you do the right due diligence? I don't want you to watch this video and conclude, I'll never make this kind of investment. What I want is for you to go in asking the right questions. Here's the checklist. Ask for net numbers, not gross. Get the actual 12-month expense breakdown from the agent or seller, not an estimate, actual invoices and paper trail. Check the local short-term rental regulations. Through the city website or a lawyer, find out whether Airbnb is legal in that area and whether a license is required. Look at real occupancy data, not the agent's estimate. Look at the actual occupancy rates of comparable listings in that area. There are data tools that show this. Decide upfront, self-manage or hire a company. Build the management commission, 20-30%, into your model from day one. Don't let it surprise you later. Set aside at least 12 months of cash reserve. Empty months, unexpected repairs, low season. Don't go into this without a cushion, or the disappointment afterward can really sting. Tony hadn't done any of this beforehand. If he had, he could still have bought the house, but instead of expecting 35,000 and finding 10,000, he would have gone in with a real expectation of 10,000-12,000 from the start and never faced the disappointment. The difference isn't in the investment itself, it's in knowing beforehand. That's exactly what this channel is about. People buy their dream place, whether it's a house, a shop, or a business, without doing the due diligence, and then the numbers eat them alive. What looks great from the outside doesn't always deliver in reality. Of course, the business world has its ups and downs, but due diligence matters so much. It's the whole process, from the money in your pocket to your dreams, and it's a form of doing business in itself. In the next video, I'm breaking down the same lie in the restaurant world. That 90% of restaurants fail statistic isn't actually true, but the real reason is far more interesting. If you enjoyed this, subscribe. See you in the next video.